tout le monde. Welcome to my live session. Today I'm going to learn simple past tense in French. Now, this live session is for the beginners who want to learn French from scratch, or for the ones who want to practice their skills, right? So, in this session, learners will be getting familiar with the simple past tense in French. Now, the simple past tense in French is called le passé composé, right? So that is called le passé composé, which is the simple past tense in English. Now, we use simple past tense in English for actions which have taken place in the past. Those are one-time actions which took place and finished there and then, right? Let's say yesterday I ate a pizza, right? So when I say yesterday I ate a pizza, the action took place in the past. That is yesterday. So the word yesterday tells us that we are talking about actions happening in the past, right? Yesterday I ate a pizza. So the action happened in the past and it finished there and then. The action did not continue for a long time, right? So for actions which happen in the past, one time actions, those which are represented by the words hier, hier means yesterday, avant-hier, that means day before yesterday, la semaine dernière, that means the last week, la semaine means the week, dernière, that means last, so the last week, le mois dernier, that means the last month, l'année dernière, that means the last year. So when we have such words in the sentence, right, we use passé composé in that sentence, all right, to represent those actions. Now, the construction of the sentence in that case would be a subject plus avoir ou être au présent, right, plus le participe passé du verbe. Now, what does that mean? So how are we going to form a sentence in past tense in French? We will be starting our subject, or we will be starting our sentence with the subject, right? Now, subject is the one who does the action, okay? Subject is the one who does the action. So it can be a person, it can be a noun, or it can also be a pronoun, right? Now, when I talk about les pronoms sujets, that means the subject pronouns, we have je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il plural, elle plural. So these are the different subject pronouns we have in French, right? Now, so my subject can be a person, it can be, anything, right? It can be a proper or a common noun, right? Now, also it can also be a pronoun. Now, when I talk about pronouns, I pick one from these pronouns, okay? Like je means I. Tu means you. Il means he. Elle means she. Nous means we. Vous means you. So what is the difference between tu and vous? Tu is used for a singular person, or it is used in informal settings, right? Whereas vous is used for, maybe it can be used for a singular person, or it can also be used for a group, and it can also be used for formal settings, right? Now, il plural is used for a group where we are talking about only males, right? Or males and females both, right? So can be used for a group, right, which is used for a masculine plural noun. Now, el plural is whole and solely used for a group which is consisting of only girls, right? Now, so these are the different subject pronouns. Then we take avoir ou être in present tense, right? Now, our verb or être verb in present tense, how do we conjugate them? Let's say the conjugation. So I'm going to say the conjugation on my end, and you can practice saying the conjugation on your end. Okay? So when I'm conjugating avoir in present tense, I will say it as j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. I repeat, j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. Right? That's the conjugation of our verb in present tense. All right. Now let's see how do we conjugate the verb être in present tense. Again with the different subject pronouns we conjugate, right? Je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. Right? I repeat, je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. So we pick one verb, right, to make the conjugation in passé composé. We either take avoir or we take être verb in present tense plus le participe passé du verbe. How do we form the past participle forms in French? Now, mostly we follow the same rule, right? But there are many exceptions to this rule as well. Like if the verbs are ending in er, all the verbs which have the er endings like er, you see in all the verbs manger, bouger, parler, travailler, nettoyer, appeler, traverser, aller, all the verbs are ending in er, right? So we remove the last r in this case and we add accent aigu on the last e. So we get the conjugation, the past participle form here as manger. The pronunciation of the verb would be the same as manger here, the original or the infinitive of the verb. The pronunciation would be the same, right? Just the spellings will be different in past participle form. That is, we remove the last r, we add an accent aigu on the last e. So we get manger, bouger, parler, travailler, nettoyer, appeler, traverser, aller, right? Let's say I have to say j'ai mangé. I have to say I ate. I ate a pizza. So I will say j'ai mangé une pizza, right? So we will conjugate the verb manger in passé composé because I have to say I ate. So I will be conjugating the verb eat in passé composé, right? So because manger does not belong to the group Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp, I will be telling you which verbs belong to this group. If the verb does not belong to the group Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp, right, we conjugate them with avoir verb. All right, but if the verb belongs to this group Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp, we conjugate it with être verb. Okay, I repeat, if the verb does not belong to the group Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp, we conjugate with avoir verb. If the verb belongs to the group, we conjugate with être verb, right? And when we conjugate with être verb, we also agree the past participle form according to the subject. Okay, that means we add extra e or extra es or just s at the end to make it feminine or plural. Okay, now since I have to say I ate, I will conjugate the verb to eat, that is manger, in passé composé, right? So I will conjugate the verb manger because it does not belong to the group Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp. I conjugate with avoir. So with je, my conjugation of avoir would be j'ai, plus the participe passé of the verb would be r removed and accent aigu will be added on e. So it becomes j'ai mangé. So j'ai mangé total complete means I ate. I ate a pizza. J'ai mangé une pizza, right? Now, if the verb belongs to an IR ending verb or IR ending group, let's say finir, remplir, rougir, choisir, right? If the verbs belong to the IR ending group, in that case, right? In that case, in that case, I will be removing the last R and the leftover would be taken as the participe passé of the verb, as the past participle form of the verb. Now, finir, the spellings are F-I-N-I-R. I remove the last R and leftover would be F-I-N-I. So, that would be taken as the past participle form of the verb finir, right? Now, what do you mean by finir? That means to finish. The verb remplir means to fill. R will be removed and the leftover would be called the past participle form of the verb, right? Rougir. Rougir means to ripe or to become red. So R will be removed and the leftover will be called the past participle form. Choisir. That means to choose. I remove the last R and the leftover would be called the past participle form of the verb, right? Now, there are some other verbs, the verbs which are ending in RE or the verbs which are irregular verbs, right? So, in that case, we have a different past participle form. Those we have to memorize, okay? And there are many verbs in that group. Let's say boire. Boire becomes bu in the past participle form, right? So, I have to say, I drank some water. So, I will say, j'ai bu, right? Now, boire verb does not belong to the group Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp. That is why I conjugate with avoir. So, with je, it would be j'ai, and the past participle form is bu. I will say j'ai bu, that means I drank. Courir, to run. The past participle would be couru. Couvrir. Couvrir means to cover. The past participle will be couvert. Ouvrir, to open. The past participle form will be ouvert. Dormir, to sleep. The past participle form will be dormi. Venir, the meaning is to come. The past participle form will be venu. Recevoir, to receive. Past participle form reçu. Savoir, to know, and the past participle form is su. Connaître, to know. Past participle form is connu. Faire, to do or to make. The past participle form would be fait. Lire, to read. The past participle form would be lu. Alright. Then we have more verbs here. Prendre. I'll do prendre first and then I move on to apprendre and comprendre, right? Prendre means to take. The past participle form is pris. Apprendre. Do you see I have added a prefix over here in the verb apprendre, that is ap. So to the past participle form pris, I will add ap in the beginning and I get appris. Apprendre means to learn and appris means learnt. Comprendre. Again, we have a prefix added to the verb prendre here, right? So we say comprendre. Now, comprendre means to understand, and the past participle form here would be compris. Compris, that means understood. Rire, to laugh, and the past participle form is ri. Avoir, to have, the past participle form is eu. Être, to be, the past participle form is été. All right. So these are some common verbs that we have and their past participle forms. Now let's go to Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp group. Okay. Now the verbs that belong to Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp are D stands for descendre, right? Descendre means to get down or to come down, right? R is for revenir, that means to come again. M for monte, to climb up or to board. Like I have to say I want to board the train. So I will say je veux monter le train, right? So monter, this is M, right? So this is monte. Monte means to climb up. So those who are here in my live session till now, please gives a thumbs up here if you have liked, if you're liking my live session and you are benefiting from my live session here. So the motive of my live session here is to make you familiar with French language and some basic rules, right? So if you are liking it, please give me thumbs up. Now, M is for monte, right? Monte is to climb up, right? Or to board, all right? R is for rester, to stay or to take rest as well. S is for sortir. V is for venir, to come. Now, sortir means to go out, right? Venir, to come. A is for aller. Aller is to go. N is for naître, to be born. D is for devenir, to become. E is for entrée. R is for rentrée. Now, entrée, as the name suggests, to enter. Rentrée, that means to return. T is for tomber. Tomber means to fall down. R is for retourner, to return. A is for arriver, to arrive or to reach somewhere. M is for mourir, to die. P is for passé. Now, passé par we take actually. So when we have a preposition after the verb passé, we conjugate with être verb. But in case we do not have this par after passé verb, we do not conjugate with être, we conjugate with avoir verb. Okay, so that happens here. Now, let's say I have to write yesterday I ate a pizza. So I'll say yesterday is written as hier. Now I ate, the verb is eat, which is manger, right? So I'll conjugate the verb manger in the past tense in passé composé, and the construction would be subject, avoir or être verb plus the past participle form of the verb, right? Now the subject is je because it's I, right? Now manger, does it come in the group Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp? No. Manger we don't have over here. We have just one M which stands for monte and which is not for manger, right? So we conjugate manger with avoir verb. So we write j'ai mangé, the past participle form, une pizza, right? J'ai mangé une pizza. Now I have to again another example. Last week I met my grandparents. That is my sentence. Okay. Now the verb is rencontrer, to meet someone. Rencontrer, to meet someone, right? Last week is written as la semaine dernière. Okay, la semaine dernière, the last week. I met. Now the verb is rencontrer, and you see we have four R's over here, but rencontrer is not a part of the group Dr. Mrs. Vandertram. We have R for revenir, R for rester, R for rentrer, and R for retourner. But here the verb is rencontrer, which means to meet someone. Okay. Now, because it is not a part of Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp, we conjugate with avoir verb. Again, I'll write J and rencontrer, the past participle form, we will get as R will be removed and accent aigu will be added on the last E. This one, right? So we say la semaine dernière, j'ai rencontré mes grands-parents. Last week I met my grandparents. Okay, now that's how we conjugate. Now similarly, if I have to say I worked in Tim Hortons, right? How will I say that? To work is travailler. Okay, travailler, to work. Now I have to say I worked in Tim Hortons, so I'll conjugate that with I. So j'ai travaillé à Tim's, that means I worked at Tim's. All right, that is that is how we write or form sentences in passé composé. Okay, let's say another one. He wrote a letter. Now he wrote a letter, the verb is écrire. Okay, écrire is to write. All right, so I will conjugate the verb écrire according to il singular with avoir verb. All right, I'll say il a écrit, the past participle form, it has a different one. So il a écrit une lettre. That means he wrote a letter. Now, I have to say here, I went to the doctor yesterday. Okay, I went to the doctor yesterday. Let me write it over here. Okay, I have to say, I went to the doctor yesterday. Now, yesterday, how do we write? We say year, yesterday, I. Okay, and now went. We have to conjugate the verb to go in passé composé. All right, now to go is the verb aller. Now, do you remember aller is a part of Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp Uno? It is, right? Now, because it's a part of Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp group, so I conjugate it with être. So, with être, it would be je suis. Then, aller is an er ending verb. So, I'll remove the last r and I will add an accent on the last e. So, I get je suis allé to the doctor's place would be chez le médecin. Okay, so my sentence would be hier je suis allé chez le médecin. Yesterday I went to the doctor's place. Now, here comes a twist. When I conjugate any verb in passé composé with être verb, I have to add extra e or s according to the subject of the sentence. Like if je is masculine, I will not add an extra e at the end here to the past participle form. If je is feminine, I will be adding e to it to make it feminine. So that means the past participle form always agrees with the subject of the sentence. All right. Now, if the subject is masculine plural, I will add an s over here. If the subject is feminine plural, I will add es at the end, right, of the past participle form. So this happens with all the verbs which are conjugated with être verb, not with avoir verb. Okay, remember that. So that's all for today. That's all for today's video for the live session, right? So we learned here about passé composé, how to conjugate the verbs, how to form sentences in past tense, right? If you like my live session, please give thumbs up, a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel Learn French by Punit. That's all for this video for live session. I'll see you soon in another live session. Au revoir.